Okay, Cap, let's decipher this. So we have the Five of Swords as our underlying energy. This is a card that speaks about doing, not doing, but saying something that will sort of divide. I'm thinking divide and conquer, but that's really not what I meant to say. It's winning a battle of wits or words, but at the cost of having a separation, okay? You might be getting straight to the point. However, not everybody is going to accept it in the same way. Now, we are, as I've mentioned in, I'm pretty sure, all of the videos, we are smack dab in the middle, or at the beginning right now, of a Mercury retrograde. And what that means is Mercury rules the house of communication, okay? Swords is air, an air sign, and that is also communication, right? So there may be a little bit of delay. There may be misunderstandings. Text messages, emails, phone conversations, face-to-face conversations, they may be misconstrued. They may words may be received more harshly than intended. Information may get twisted or boggled. Again, communications may be slowed down. They may not show up. You might be waiting on some information, and over here they're saying, "Hey, we've sent it to you," and over here you're like, "But I don't have it. Like, where is it? I've checked, spam. I've checked everything." So just know that throughout the month, communications sort of going awry might be ribboning through, and then also. This is also a bit of a warning to sort of discern how you communicate, okay? If you already know that there's a possibility somebody may take something the wrong way, or you may cause a divide or separation, then perhaps you can just use a little more diplomacy, right? When you're speaking to somebody or when you're speaking about somebody. If you already know that there's a possibility that things could sort of get twisted, then just use a little bit of, soften things up a bit. Not lie, but, make sure that there's no room for error. Say what you mean to say, and make sure that, everybody involved receives the same message that you're giving out, okay? So let's see what cards we're starting off with here. With the Queen of Cups at the beginning of the month, this is if this is a person in your life, this would be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, male or female, who is very loving, caring, intuitive. This is also, if this is not a person, this could be the energy that you are, or anybody else really, you are embracing. You're embracing this this love, this nurture, this caring. Also very intuitive. I feel like she's scrying. She's that cup to me is like a crystal ball. She's looking to see what's going on. She's digging deep. She's emotionally stable. She is, she's using that intuition. She's hearing the ocean from the clamshell. She's grounded. She's flowy. So this is, again, male or female, but this is energy that you will either encounter, or this is energy that you will feel. Queen of Cups is also, on the more negative side, or aspect of Queen of Cups energy. This would be somebody who is emotionally, possibly clingy or manipulative, or somebody who is, drama. Okay, so again, with the Five of Swords, as our underlying energy, I would tend to think that, this Queen of Cups energy might just very well lean towards the drama filled, um, woe is me, always the victim, just very disruptive way of communicating, as far as always seeing the cup, seeing the cup as empty instead of having anything in it, right? So be aware of that, Capricorn, that you might encounter that, and or you might be feeling that way. You might find, you know what, I'm crying at the drop of a hat. What the hell? Crying for no reason, or, by the end of the first week of September, you might be like, everything's going, why me? You might just have a very depressed outlook on something, okay? And you'll realize it, right? Somebody may bring it to your attention, right? Someone may say, hey, pull your head out of your ass. It's not all woe is me, okay? And you may take that, you may be like, you know what, screw you, I don't need you anymore. And then, then there's a division, right? But in any case, Capricorn, you're dealing with some emotions, you're dealing with some intuition, and you're dealing with a person, possibly, that is loving, caring, nurturing, and or on their bad days, they are, emotionally manipulative and maybe a little bit clingy and depressive. Okay, so by the second week in September, we have the King of Wands. Now, this is somebody who is incredibly passionate. This would be a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. I believe we're looking at Leo here. This is definitely, fire, passion, spontaneous. This is athlete. This is charisma. This is lover. Okay, sexual. This is very sexual energy. And I have to say, let me just back up here a minute. Circle back. We have the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands. Okay, fire and water don't necessarily mix very well together, but therein possibly lies this division. Okay, we have, perhaps there's a division in a marriage. Maybe some of you are experiencing, whether you're on the emotional side, you're trying to be compassionate and loving, and the other person's like, screw that, it's like my way or the highway type thing. So it's like, no, I'm just going to burn on to the next thing. So this might be a duo that happens at the beginning of the month, not, one week and then the other week. This may happen simultaneously at the beginning of the month. And I feel like for some of you it will, and for some of you it will be a separate story. But again, around the second week, if this isn't a couple thing, this energy, this Leo energy, this fiery, passionate, spontaneous energy, this is definitely action. This is movement. This is desire. This is creativity. This is, this is invention, right? This is having that idea and putting it into motion. This is fire, okay? This isn't the spark. This isn't the flint or the twig or the kindling. This is fire, straight up fire. And so, whatever's going on second week or so, or mid-September, there's a lot of passion to it, okay? I feel like I have to mention, Capricorn, that for some reason fires in California just popped into my head. And I know I've had that before. I'm not sure if it was June or July, and I'm not sure which sign it was. But for some reason, I feel like there's fires. California, the state name popped into my head, and then I also feel lava. There's volcanoes somewhere that are about to erupt mid-September, and I'm not an astrologer, and I'm not a weather woman. Um, that's just an intuitive message that I'm getting. Okay, um, so yeah, so we've got some very emotional energy at the beginning of the month. We've got some very passionate, fiery, possibly angry energy, okay? Maybe some of this information that you're getting that, came in maybe the wrong way, or somebody's trying to divide and conquer, maybe that energy just really pissed you off, okay? That's a very big possibility, because this King of Wands, he takes care of business, but he's also, you don't want to mess with him, okay? He's the Godfather. For those of you who know that movie, yeah, you don't want to mess with him, okay? So he'll take care of business. So by the end of the month, we're looking at the Magician card, and this is a card that speaks to using and utilizing all of the tools and all that is necessary to create what you want. Okay, it shows that you are in a position of creation. Okay, the universe is supporting you. As above, so below. The earth is supporting you. Entities are supporting you. You have every element here supporting you. You have everything you need. You just have to utilize it. The Magician is a card that speaks to creation and manifestation. This is, whatever it is that you desire, you can put into place and have it manifest physically. So, perhaps for some, we have the Cups card, a female water. We have male fire, and we may just combine that into creation of a child. Okay, emotion and passion may unite and manifest in the form of your biggest creative endeavor would be a child, right? So that's very possible. It is also possible, Capricorn, that this Magician is also sleight of hand. Okay. Now, with the Five of Swords again as our underlying energy, we may be told something, or we may believe something to be true, and we feel it. We feel it emotionally, we feel it passionately, and we really feel like we can make it happen, but it's sleight of hand. It's not true. It's a magic trick. It's a trick. Okay? And I do have to mention that just because the Magician sometimes is known as the trickster. If anybody has gone to a magic show, they really don't saw a body in half. It's a trick. It's an illusion. So it's possible that because the communication is going to be a little bit wonky, maybe this couple getting together is an illusion. Okay, it looks perfectly fine here, but perhaps it's just an illusion that things are going to work out. Maybe that creation, that passion and that fire, along with that water and emotion, maybe they really don't mix. Okay, water and fire don't, right? Water puts out fire. Maybe there's too much emotion. It drowned out the passion, And now, even though the elements are there, it's just going to be an illusion. Okay? This may represent somebody sticking around for the sake of sticking around. I feel like this has to do with a couple, obviously, but I feel like this is also um, possibly in a job situation too. But I'm really feeling more like this is specific for a couple that, the month of September, there's just this realization that, there's arguments, right? And it's splitting hairs. It's, you're not agreeing on something. Maybe you're not agreeing on, how to raise the kids or where to live or, whatever that argument is about. But it's cutting to the core, right? You're leaving somebody out. The words that are used are being received quite harshly, right? And so, what happens then is you've got, the Queen of Cups is the wet blanket. The King of Wands is the fiery hothead, and between the two of them, you would think you'd find a nice balance, but maybe you just cut too much. Okay, so a little bit of heavy energy there for you, Capricorn, and not for everybody. I feel as if this is very specific towards some couples. Again, there's a positive, neutral, and negative aspect to every tarot card in the deck. So, I just have to mention, when Queen of Cups is very loving, caring, emotionally supportive, she can also be very emotionally manipulative, very needy, very whiny, very, drama. The King of Wands, very fiery, passionate, charismatic, and spontaneous and athletic. And he then also could be very temperamental, very hot-headed, very, explosive, very volatile. And again, the Magician, very much the manifester, very much the, can whip something out of the air and make it happen, but also the trickster. He can make you, he's one of those, I guess in the States we refer to him as, the used car salesman, right? Uh, you can make a bucket buy water. You can, those swift talkers, um, they make you think you're getting something that you're not. Okay, so this is sort of also whipping up a story that sounds good. Okay, so I feel like September's going to be a little bit edgy. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The help that's coming to you this month, thank goodness, right? Let's move on. We have the Wheel of the Year. And the Wheel of the Year is definitely a card that speaks about cycles and timing. Okay, everything has its season. Okay, and it's definitely speaking about seasons here. We are coming, the month of September, we have so many things going on. Planetarily, lots of transits, lots of changes, and I guess the wheel sort of reminds us that the only thing we can count on not to change is the fact that everything changes. Okay, does that make sense? Because the areas in life that are going really well, there's a season for that. There's a reason for that. The areas in your life that are not going so well, there's a reason and a season for that. So what that means is, we're coming, at least northern hemisphere anyway. We're coming from summer into fall right now, and so after autumn we'll be into the winter season, and after winter we'll be into spring. Like, that's just how it is. And I feel like help coming to you with the wheel of the year is to realize that it's just, if it's not happening now, just know that the time isn't right. Okay, there's a timing. Um, there's also, for those of you who are, experiencing maybe some hardships, that time is coming to an end as well. Okay, everything is cyclical. So seasons come in and out of each other constantly, right? We go through seasons in life. We go through infancy and childhood and adulthood and geriatric. I mean, we go through all these seasons, and there's no changing that. So I feel like I keep looking at this magician. I feel like some of you are trying to make something happen in your own time instead of in the universal time. Okay? Um, Not that there's anything wrong with that. Hey, I'm an instant gratification girl myself. I just feel like it would be helpful, and since this is coming to you as a help, this is helpful for those of you who need to be reminded that it's a timing thing. Okay? Um, Either the time has passed, or the time is coming, or the time is now, or the time is not now. Um, Wherever that wheel is for you on whatever this situation is, it's timing. Okay? So that's coming to help you. So remember that, Capricorn, that it's a timing issue. Okay? It either is your time or it isn't. It's that wheel of fortune. It's either time for you to be fortunate or it's time for you to let go of some of that. Okay? And so, again, with the seasons, maybe it is time to let some of this stuff rest. Okay? This water over fire sort of puts that fire out. Maybe that needs to sit and smolder for a minute. Okay? Maybe that needs to be put to the wayside so that something else can come up and flourish. Okay? So that the season can then, bring forth, in its perfect timing, what it is that's supposed to come towards you. Now, the energy that will be challenging, we have the Chariot, seventh card in the Major Arcana. The Chariot speaks to pushing through obstacles. This is being focused and, maybe even being a little bit fearful, but doing it anyway. Okay? This is a challenge for you, Capricorn. This could also mean you have challenges with your vehicle and with travel. September may not be the best time for you to travel. This is sort of going off in two different directions, okay? So there's not a balance here. So the Chariot being a challenge, this would be, more of the more negative aspects in that, as a challenge, you aren't able to push forward. You aren't able to stay focused on your goal and your desire. The challenge for you this month, Capricorn, might be that, you want to go fast and you want to push forward fast, but again, you're being reminded not everything happens quickly. And you just want everything to push forward, and the challenge is that you have to wait. Sometimes you stall, sometimes you're in reverse, right? So the Chariot can definitely be a challenge, also in that you don't necessarily know which way you're going, you just know where you want to end up. Okay? These horses are runaway horses, right? This charioteer is hard pressed to hold on to the reins. So the challenge for you this month, Capricorn, might be just holding on for the ride and hoping you get to the destination you wanted to get to. Okay, that's a challenge. That's the challenge is having faith that you're going to arrive and arrive safely. Again, I feel like for those of you who are traveling, this might not be the best time to do that. There, there will likely be delays and hiccups. Maybe, especially air travel. I feel as if luggage getting lost, comforts, type thing, not being available, being stuck in an airport for hours and hours and hours on end, things like that.